Okay, here it is, flat Earth. You ready? So when I first got exposed to this idea, man, I thought it was absolutely crazy, and I was like, dude, you know, I was like right there going, this is ridiculous. But you know, I kind of laughed at it. I thought it was goofy. So I'm like, I'm gonna actually look into this just to see what people are saying and why, and you know, what their evidence is and all this kind of stuff. I just kind of interested in it, and I said, all right, because I try to be open-minded about everything, even if it's kind of ridiculous. It's fun to at least look at, you know. You don't have to go crazy and go down some ridiculous rabbit holes that make no sense, but at the same time, hey, it's life, it's information, it's fun, it's people. So I kind of checked on it, and you know, everything that I was noticing, you know, I was trying to pay attention to the counter arguments, you know, and I'm going, what, you know, none of the counter arguments that I was catching from any people, really intelligent, intellectual, well-educated people, trying to argue against things that were presented, and they couldn't come up with anything that actually convinced me that the other thing was like completely hogwash. And so I just started going deeper and deeper and deeper, and just realized that, man, I don't know the answer, but I can tell you that anybody who ridicules it right away and hasn't actually looked at it would, you know, I just don't think they're giving it enough credit to look at it. At least it's worth looking at. Now, what's the consequences if we have a flat Earth versus not? All that would mean is that, I'll be right in. All that will mean is basically we've been lied to about the Earth. Like, why would we be lied to about that? It's usually the first question that comes up. And I think that really has a lot to do with, you know, who's controlling the levers of information, you know, and why are they controlling the levers of information? You know, obviously it's always population perception control in some sense. There's always that, you know, there's always an information, you know, control levers somewhere, you know, whether it be from the top of a corporation to religion, or all kinds of reasons, politics, you know. But to hide this and have the apparatus and the mechanisms around hiding this, and then trying to create, you know, with NASA, trying to create like a perception of this is what it is, this is where we live and all that, you know. Turns out it really wouldn't take that many people to do it. It really wouldn't. There's people in compartmentalized positions all over the world with different things, and they might create a rocket, send it up, you know, send it in an email. All right, this is how it's designed. Good, goes to the boss. And then they do a bunch of video footage on some things, and who knows if it's actually the thing they gave it, you know, to the email and all, you know. I'm kind of off on a tangent, but point is that, do we really know? You know, can we really say, oh, it's absolutely not true? I think it's worth questioning. I think it's worth considering, you know, without ridicule, without, you know, with open-mindedness, not just closing down your idea behind it and going, it's definitely what I've been told since I was in second grade. You know, I know that to be a fact. Nobody's ever looked at it. We just believed what they told us in school. We believed that's the globe, that's on the teacher's desk, must be true. I know, it sounds silly to question these things, but is it really silly?
This is me, trying to explain flat Earth to people who believe that. To planes knock down 3 buildings, it's like talking to a brick wall.
So I created this profile because I was sharing too much from my other profile on my main Facebook page, and then people from my Facebook found my TikTok, and clearly some of my videos were in a roundabout way about them, but more about a general mentality that I notice among the sheeple nowadays. And what it's been for me is this incredible awakening, and it's like, I talked before in a video about what was it for you that woke you up. I was a college student during 9/11 and during the loose change phenomenon, Dr. Judy Wood, everything that happened after that, right, made me start to really question the official narrative. But since then, it seems like every time I reach a new level of understanding, the next veil layer is almost like ripped off. And it's happening at this incredibly exponential rate that is like, once you start to see through the narrative and you see the web of lies that is, you know, the puppeteer, the masters that are really pulling the strings here, you really do start to question everything you've been told. And I'm going through that kind of alone, and although not so much in others, and so I'm thankful for that. But you know, I had this guy. He was a neighbor of mine. He sat on the board, and he left something under a video that I made about NASA being a bunch of lying liars who lie. And he said, "Oh, don't tell me you believe the Earth is flat." And I said, you know, I don't believe the Earth is flat. I don't know what the Earth is, but neither do you. You only know what you've been told. And this is a guy that sails. So, like, you've been out on the open ocean. You've seen the horizon line. You've watched the sun get smaller and smaller as it moves further away. Like, okay. You navigate by the stars, but you think you live on a spinning ball? Like, so then I said, we need to go through another just mid-level intelligence test. Do you believe that 19 hijackers are responsible for 9/11? Do you believe that the 2020 pandemic was like just this natural phenomenon because somebody ate bats on their lunch break? Like, where do we stand? Because I can't with the NPCs anymore, like, have the patience to walk them through it. Like, I'm too busy trying to pull my own shit together when all these things are being revealed to me. Like, I can't possibly stop and slow down and get it to such a remedial level to try to get one of these sheep to wake up anymore. Like, we're at end point. But there's no more time for these people. You're with us or you're with them. Like, end of story.
Globetards are one of the most dishonest people I have ever seen. Here I am with a scientific flat Earth model, proving circumnavigation by air and by sea with oceans filled with real water almost 2 inches deep. On the lower side, all Globetards can offer is a toy ball Earth, suspended by electromagnetism, with oceans painted in dark blue with some sprinkles of water on it. All that they prove is that gravity is too weak to pull down the toy ball. Magnetism wins, ball. Earth proof fails.
So what holds our world together? Well, on the nuclear scale, 10 to the minus 12 centimeters, very important are the nuclear forces. On an atomic scale, up to thousands of kilometers, it's really electric forces that hold our world together.
It's really electric forces that hold our world together.
Okay, I hope you are all ready for this because I found real, authentic UFO footage. But we might have to drop the U off of this because I have also identified this spacecraft. And it's got technology that's some familiar and some not so familiar. Watch this. So 7 Club, you found the aliens from Peru? You've identified this craft? Not quite, but I did find the US patent for it. Yeah, so remember when we seen that triangle UFO on TV? Well, John St. Clair has a patent for this on Google Patents. And just look how this spacecraft defies gravity. It uses electrostatics. Get your pause finger ready. Sha! And I know the Globies are going to say, but look, 7 Club, it says that it uses Einstein's theory of relativity right in the equations. But they seem to just kind of add it into the equation after ascension and propulsion was already explained. Remember what Austin Whitsitt said about gravity and electrostatics?
I can quote you Walter Lewin from MIT explaining to you that every phenomenon we see on the Earth, everything that we experience, everything that's held together on the Earth is all because of electricity and the electric nature of all things, and that it's 10 to the 36 power stronger than gravity even claims to be. So there is no evidence on the Earth at all that's exclusive to the idea of gravity, and that's ironically the only place that the math for gravity even works.
Have you asked yourself why is Justin Trudeau scared of flat Earth getting popularity? Well, watch it until the end.
Recently, over the past few years, a whole bunch of people have decided that the world is flat. And they hang out with each other, and they find different ways of proving to themselves that the Earth is flat. Now, that may not seem like a very serious thing, because someone who believes the Earth is flat is not going to necessarily cause tremendous harm to everyone else. But the ability to start to believe something that simply isn't true actually starts creating real problems, and can bring us as a society to very scary places.
The reason he is scared is because flat Earth is true.
Flight SW192 from Zurich to Sao Paulo. Thanks to the captain of this flight for providing us a perfect flat earth proof. This flight is from 47° north Zurich to 23° south Sao Paulo. According to the globe earth theory, the stars in the sky should travel upwards and disappear from here. This yellow territory is Switzerland. Takeoff from Zurich, Switzerland. Expected sky on a globe earth theory. Sao Paulo, Brazil, same demonstration with laser.
You can think with your brain for 5 full seconds. Think with your brain for 5 full seconds.
Let's think with brain for 5 seconds, shall we? This shiny star should move upwards and disappear from up. The stars are traveling downwards, which is impossible on a globe earth. Globe earth theory is debunked again.
This is for the globe-tards who believe everything they see on TV.
In October of 2015, I was commanding a routine 6-hour flight. When it came to initializing the IDARU, it returned an error. This is not all that uncommon, and it usually takes on a second attempt. After a few tries, we just got the same thing, error. I called the tower, explained the situation, and they sent an avionics tech out. He ran his check in the avionics bay and said that it all checked out and that the fault was only with the initialization module inside the box. In this situation, they would normally just unplug it and slide a replacement box in there. However, it's a rare occurrence and has never happened to me. Unfortunately, there was no replacement available at this location. I called the company and reported the situation. After about 20 minutes, someone got back to me and advised that they could get a replacement box to me, but would take about 12 hours. Or, since my flight plan was not outside of ground radar coverage, I could use GPS as a primary reference and adjust the IDARU's data via ATC manually and periodically to compensate for drift. I decided that the later suggestion was within safe limits and made the decision to continue. As instructed, I had my first officer regularly call ATC for ground radar positioning and make necessary adjustments to the IDARU data. However, throughout the entire flight, and this was a 6-hour flight, no drift occurred. This was a real head-scratcher, and since it's company policy and my personal policy to understand as much as possible about the aircraft and its systems, I wanted to know why. I talked to someone at our fleet maintenance department and was told that they didn't make repairs to any black boxes, and I should talk to the manufacturer, in this case, Honeywell. I contacted Honeywell and managed to talk to a senior IDARU engineer. He was very helpful. It turns out they don't make the ACM, the alignment calibration module, which looks a bit like a desktop PC hard drive painted bright orange with warnings printed on it, do not open, serviceable only by manufacturer. It turns out that there's only one company that supplies these modules to all avionics makers, and nobody else seems to know anything about their workings. I tried contacting the company and was just given the runaround. This is very strange since pilots are usually welcome anywhere in the industry. I could show up unannounced at Boeing and get treated like family. After a lot of digging, I found out that this mysterious ACM manufacturer is a contractor to NASA, and that's all I can find out. To date, I've been unable to talk to anyone there and still can't find out anything about this ACM. It feels like I've hit a wall, but I'm still digging. To be fair, I wouldn't describe myself as a flat earther. I'm just someone who wants this question answered. If there are any breakthroughs on this, I'll let you know. Feel free to use any of this on your show, but please remember to refer to me as Mac. I did consider allowing you to interview me, but this time I don't think I'm comfortable with that. I'll let you know if I change my mind. All the best, Mac. Wow. Okay, so let me break that down for you real quick. So inside the gyro system that he was talking about, the gyro system, in this case the black box, was made by Honeywell. The alignment calibration module is not made by Honeywell. It's subcontracted out by another company, and that company has it sealed to where only they are allowed to work on it, but they don't ever work on it. They just swap them out. They just swap out the parts. So what happened was this particular alignment module broke before he could fly. The weird, on the weird circumstance, they couldn't get a new one in there, so he flew the 6 hours without using it. And the plane should have drifted because of the curvature and the Coriolis effect, otherwise known as the spinning of the Earth. And it didn't. The plane didn't drift for 6 hours on a 777. That's a flagship, top of the line stuff there. Why didn't it drift? And he was trying to figure out why. He couldn't figure it out. And in the process of trying to figure out what happened, he discovered that this module is made by exactly one company, and they supply every airline in the industry. And when you try to call them, they don't talk to you. And they're a subcontractor for NASA. Remember what I said about if you want to plug the holes, you want to do it very securely, when it comes to hiding things, and this would be that thing. So to keep the pilots from not worrying about it, you tell them there's a guidance system inside their plane that accounts for the curvature and the spinning of the Earth, and it doesn't. And you hope to God something like this doesn't happen, to where it breaks, and the pilot goes, well, wait a minute, how am I flying normally without that thing working? Why have that thing in there at all? And when you call the company to figure out what they're actually doing, they won't talk to you.
The Flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer, Al-Biruni, who lived between 975 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Eddie Alenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store today and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.